Okay, this is the 1st of Feb 2012. We are approaching that final stage where we can put the long-awaited sills back together again, because we are nearly fully prepped along that edge. It's been a long road. It's been a road of floor pan edges, a road of A-panel rebuilds, a road of crossmember removal and reinsertion, of seat mount points, of B-post fabrication repairs, of rear floor section repairs, and of outer floor edge. We've been doing all that work over the past few weeks. I'm thinking, is it about 2 weeks worth of work, 3 weeks of work? I'm losing track now. But tonight should see some big progress with inner sills. We're lining the tools up. We've got everything laid out and ready. Air pressure is live. Welder is ready. Tools are armed. We are ready to go. Can you take it? Will it work? Will everything line up? Let's see. Just got a bit of grinding to do in this area before we seal it up, because it'll be easier to get to with the sills off. So let's finish off the last few grinds. Let's bump and grind it, baby. Let's see what we can do. Let's bump and grind them panels into place. We're ready. We're going to be on the tripod. We're going to be running. Let the sills commence. Okay, first job to do. We've got 2 holes where your seatbelt mount go. 2 holes there. Seatbelt mounting points. One's for the inertia reel, and the other one is for the 3-point safety harness return clasp, I think it's called. Now, over here in the vise are the old bolt mount plates removed from the inner sill. As you can see there, we've drilled out the spot welds, popped those off. We're now going to clean the face of them up. Let's lock them into the vise. Get the grinder disc on there and just flatten them over. We're ready. We'll rust proof prime, zinc weld through primer them, then position them onto the sills. I'll drill 4 holes in the sills so we can weld through. So let's do that now. Let's get these cleaned up and let's get them on and welded in position onto the inner sill. Alright, cleaned up, clean the faces, put them through there, get some zinc galv on them now, cut the rust off, smooth them down, zinc galv to weld through primer, so we can prime that face there, that'll weld through, you see, won't any, doesn't spatter or spit, same word. Okay, so then they're on, and then what you do, pop them on there like that, pop them on there like that. We'll clamp them now, spin it upside down, then blast through with the welder. I'll turn the power up on the welder because it's thick metal, we want to get a good penetration through there. Let's turn it up to max power.
He's going to be back in the cinemas later this year in The Dictator, playing General Aladdin, North African leader. Director James Bogus, who works on the
Okay, let's try again.
says he's sure The Dictator will be a hit.
Got the seatbelt mounts in now, so they're okay, but what I've got to do is fix this cross member up here. because that's part of the sill positioning, and I've got to get that inner sill panel made up. So I've got a little bit of work to do at the rear, actually, I forgot about. So yeah, we better get on with that now. We better get on with fixing that. So I need to put a right angle on this. I need to get a piece of metal and make a right angle because it's lost its leading edge, it's lost its flange that it uses to mount on there. So we need to build that up. It's in two sections, only two small strips of right angle there. So we'll get that done now, get them welded on and get that repaired. And we've got to make the correct cut there and then straighten this back end out. It's all a bit beaten up there, that back end, so let's fix it up. Alright, I've clipped the old Crossmember, the damaged one, the rotten one, on top of the one we're going to use, the good panel. I'm going to carefully take the angle grinder up to the edge of that to get the profile correct, and then hopefully it'll fit into there. We might have to do a few little bits of grinding just to get it exactly right. So I'm going to make the cut now with the using a slicing disc. Okay, so it's goggles on and gloves on, and let's go. Okay, making the cut now. I'm going to grip that there, and we go. This way the old metal guides you through. This side. Got to try and keep two hands on the grinding wheel. Until I get the groove. I'll keep two hands on because if that slips. Okay. Showing the same profile. And that's it. So go into position, and that's old one goes, new one on. Okay, I've offered it up and the profile is exactly right. Perfect match. So that system works where you let the grinding, the old template, guide the blade along your cut. That gives you a perfect finish, perfect profile. It's a good way of doing it. So okay, that's coming up flush with the front of this, so we're okay there. And we can now make we need to make a flange for this side here, and then flange for there. There's a gap underneath that bit, but we need to just create those now with some right angle sections. So we'll do that next. Alright, I've been straightening up this piece which is a little bit damaged. Started making up the repair flanges. I'm also making up some new tabs to fit to the inner sill because these tabs were a bit rusty and they bust up, so we've cut some metal plates out. I'm going to punch that and that's going to go into there. I've done some hole punches this side so we can get some welds in. We'll put some right angles on the tabs. So we're just going to pop some more holes in the top to pick up the use the hole punch. Put that in. Now we're going to put some right angles into these tabs and then we'll spot weld them in position. That gets the tabs done. Okay, I'm just putting the new tabs in place at the end of these Crossmember rail. The rusty tab, as you know, the rusty tabs snatched off. They weren't very secure. Look, see, when this part was salvaged, So we took them out. I've made some new tabs. I'm just checking that the face is flush by just running a piece of straight edge over it, so I can position this tab just to make sure it's flush. I knew the top one was right, so I'll just use that as a marker and put a plate up against it. It should just fit on like that. So you can always bend them a little bit, just want to get it approximate. So I'll weld that up now. I've welded the top one already. Okay, so I'll weld. Okay, there you go. That's that front face done nicely now. So it's going to be a great fit as we position this in now. Just look at that profile, it's bang on. Even that's perfect. So that fits in like this. That gives us that face there. As you can see, that recess lines up with that tab, so you just push it back and that's fitting into that. Okay, that's that bit. And now we just check. There you go. So that's gonna be our inner sill, so you know that's in the same plane. And maybe a little tweak on one just to get it exactly onto the face, to just pull it out a touch. But yeah, that's all right. I'm quite pleased with that. That bit's fabricated up. We need to make the right angle edges now. Just 2 strips. We'll do that now. Alright, I'm just making the right angle edge. I've made that plate there, flange plate, creates a new flange. We'll grind the profile on it after. Just popping it in now. Get the welds on. So we're just popping in some welds. As you see, that's all complete at that end. Let's get this on. Some more welds in now. There you go, tabs are all on. Front tabs on, and then following down the side there, I've repaired that. So there you go. Sits on there now. We're going to get that clamped in and welded on. Don't see why not. I might just spray the inside of it with a rust-proofing primer first before we pop it back on. May as well just give it a nice little send off. Okay, let's get it primed. Alright, it's ready. Now it's painted. There you go, offer that up. Go in there. Oops, hey, wrong way. See you around this way. Well, how about that? Just how about that? Right, what I'll do now, I'll measure the distance from the one that's never been moved, so we know that's a good reference point. Between the 2 cross members we get the distance, and then set the distance to this end, then tack it in. That's what we do next. Alright, distance was 695 between that cross member and the rear cross member, 695, so I've measured it from there to there, 695, clamp that now, so now we'll put a couple of tacks in just to hold it, and we'll do some tacks at that end. We'll see how it's looking. If we're happy with that, we'll weld it in position. Alright, yeah, we'll weld it in. Okay, and plates up there. There was a little, I had to do another piece there. I noticed a little crack where I've welded and it's not quite penetrated, so I checked the rest of the welds and they're okay. So I have to keep my eyes on my welding sometimes, make sure it gets right the way through both sides. That one, I've missed it, so I'll grind that off a bit. Just noticed a little crack there, so that's in. That one's grinding down at the top, but that's straight. I'll check the measurements, it's all okay, exactly the same both sides. So yeah, we're on there. That's cross member back in. So now we're going to start aligning the inner sill, just getting it with some clamps so I can see where I'm at with that. So I'll clamp that up now. Okay, been taking a while to line up all the panels. One slight error. My little cut out here is just ½ an inch too high, so I'm going to have to chop it and move it. It's only a minor alteration. I'll probably just cut it out and bend that. So yeah, I just got that wrong somewhere along the line. But the sill's fitting in. Everything's in position. The bottom edge of the floor. Let's go under. Let's get up close and personal again, like you love to. So everything seems to go in the way it should. I'm following along the lines of the floor. Just some ripples there, just where it's been bent when I've been messing around, but basically it's similar to the other side, this, in that you get little slight overhangs where one panel's just, you know, the copy panels and pattern panels, but basically there's all the edges are there for us to get the welds into. So, and everything seems to fit snug in the important places. So we'll now measure between the pillar holes again and make sure nothing's moved. And if that's right, then I'll then put markings on, ready to dress the areas for the welds. And that's it. So on the inside we're okay. All the lines are there, what you need. Everything's in line with everything else, how it should. We're only going to put the inner sill on because I've got to do the this horrible patch here that I just don't like doing, but it's got to be done. It basically needs a piece of metal on that. I'm just going to put a straight plate in there. I'm not going to try and make it shape like the other side because it becomes just a nightmare. It's a very complex shape, that inner piece, but all it needs to be really is a straight piece of metal. Why they ribbed it at the factory, I don't really know. It's a funny old shape that. Here it is, here's the old piece. It's for the wiring loom to follow that groove, see? Then it drops down the loom there. Basically that's all what it is, all what it's for really. I can't really do anything with that, it's gone. It just looks a mess when you try and patch all that together. There's a jacking point, but the jacking point's going to be put on that straight piece of metal, so we need to make an inner piece for that before the outer sill goes on, but there's nothing to stop the inner sill going on now. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to finalise the position, then I'm going to start making the holes on the bottom of the inner sill for it to attach to the floor pan and spot weld it in position, and that's the end for today. So let's see how far we get. A little update for you. I've got the tape measure, my old measurements there that I made before the car was even disturbed, before these spot welds were even drilled off. I took the measurements with the same tape measure, with the same technique, tensioning it on there and drawing it across, bottom hole to bottom hole, 962mm, which it was, and it is 962mm, exactly the same. The top, curiously, was 959. I don't know why that was when I had the car. 959. I'll bring it up close and personal again. Will it focus on that? It has a go, doesn't it? $9.59. What do you reckon? I'm happy with that. It's exactly the same measurement. I'll double check it again. Same technique, under tension. This was 962. This is the centre of the door hole, by the way. 960. All right, that might be 961. It's not bloody far off, is it? 96. Could it be 960? Maybe that's 960. Perhaps we've got 2mm there. So when I clamp it up, it may pull it across slightly. the most important one is across. I mean, I could have measured it wrong, but I don't think I did. I'm almost sure I didn't measure it wrong. This needs to be 10, 20, 2, because it moved. I readjusted this one. That's 10. That's 10, 20, 1. That's 10, 21. It was 10, 23. So go across here, and that's 10, 21. So it's square. Ten, 21. It's a 2mm difference from when I measured it, yet it's still square, so I don't quite know how that happened. It's funny because it's exactly the same on the bottom. 959, and that's 959. We agree, and that's 959. I'm happy that's 959. That's exactly the same. And that's 962. 961.5. It's got to be right. I don't know if I wrote these down correct. 1023. I'm going to hold my finger on 3. 1, 2, 3. My thumbnails on it. 1022 that actually, right to the centre of the hole. That's 1022. So, sorry about the jiggering around. 1022 right to the centre of the hole. 1021, 1020, and that's 1021. So it's 1mm out still, but it was that when I mocked it up the last time. Now you could slightly move that by 1mm across, but that would give you a change. But because the bottom one's exactly right, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to settle for that. 1mm out on one measurement and 1mm out on the other. I'm going to set that tolerance. I'll measure the other door and see if that's got similar differences, but I don't think there's much in it. I really don't. You can adjust the door hinges, move by at least 5mm, so I think we're going to be accepting that. I'm not a bodywork expert, so I'm going to have to accept my limits and say, well, that's it. It isn't the kind of thing that's going to really niggle me, because I think that a couple of mils more than what I expected. So I thought there'd be a disaster actually, because I've never done this before. I thought a centimetre out or something crazy, and all twisted, but I'm surprised it's that close. So that makes me really pleased. Okay, so I'll pull the outer sill off now from the mock-up, and I'll punch the holes in the inner sill and get ready to tack that up, because you've got to put the inner sill on first. Okay, let's do that. Alright, saving some time. The air punch. If you're doing a lot of panel work, fabrication work, you save a lot of time messing with your drill. It's a great tool, this. Just got to make sure you're nice and snug. Get the panel all the way in. And away you go, get your holes. So we carry on. Please. There's no exact science about your spacing, basically freehand. It seems to be freehand at the factory, so. Just trying to do it with the camera, it's a little bit tricky, of course. saves so much messing about. Okay, so see the holes in there now. Ready for our welds to go in. I'll put that back on here now, and I'm going to spray paint it with a different colour, and then where the spray paint lands is where we grind back just to get some nice clean metal, even though that's a weld through primer. Actually should be okay. We'll check and see how it goes. So that's that. There might be some other holes I need to punch now. We'll resume when I've got the sill mocked up against here. And that's it. I want to take you into the action and show you the final moment of truth really with this, because it's come together quite nicely. There's a slight gap where I'd expected some distortion on this floor, but it'll pull in and everything lines up. So we've got that, there's a flange lip there, if you can see it on this, there you can see it now, and that fits in with that. So you pull that up, see that tab, there's like a raised profile tab that's designed for that to fit on, so that's in the correct place. This follows the bottom line of that B post. Let's see if we can get it there. Slowly, there we are. That's to follow those spot welds, so up we go to meet those, and that tab lands nicely on that pad there, so that support tab's worked out, good for us. See how that's getting ready to offer up to that raised platform, and it's all snug and lined up, so that means we've done the correct work with that. So that's really it, and it's following the curve there, so we're good there. The holes that I've punched here don't quite meet, so that's because there's a slight distortion on the floor, but there's still plenty of room on it, so I can bend them under and still get welds in. I've had to adjust that, of course, so it's a bit of a shame, but never mind. Everything else is alright, so I'm putting some welds in now. This is it. Just bringing that floor down because it had just bent up a bit. I think that might have been when I was jacking the car, but it's all gone nicely back in now. It's right on the line, that now. Give it one more tap. That's the one. Lovely. beautiful. That's it. Bottom edge is on. Okay, we're finishing for tonight. Just thought I'd show you that inner sill now in position. That's it for today, Tuesday, February 1st. All done. Alright, we're now on Thursday, February 3rd, Thursday, February 3rd, 2012. Yesterday you saw us leave here with the sill clamped in position, the inner sill welded up. What we're doing now is we're doing a couple of final checks. I'm measuring diagonally across the lower bolt hole for the door, and then using the tape there to stick that in the lower bolt hole of the door, like this. In that goes. Across here, find the centre of the car. There's a hole on this cross rib. that gives us 34 inches to the centre of that hole from that one. The idea is that both sides are symmetrical, so the bottom of that hole, then get that, bring that across, and that's not quite in. It's 34 to the middle of that hole, so we are, let's make sure it's at the same angle, because you can twist the tape measure, you see. Right, I've got it at the same angle. I'm on 34 when it's not pulling out. Try again. No, we're not having any luck with that, are we? Okay, there we go. And that's 34, so we are where we need to be. Okay, so that's parallel now. What we do, I'll start preparing the sill. There's an inner sill piece to make for the back. We need to make that first before we can put the final sill on, so let's do that next. Making the inner repair piece for the rear inner sill. That'll show you what I mean. That hole behind there, we're going to make that next. Okay, here we are, we're in down low with the action. Okay, you can remember that repair we made with those tabs. That's looking good. And remember that outer floor edge piece. This is how they made them with a copy panel, designed to fix your car in the 80s when it was rusting. Well, actually they were rusting in the 70s, these babies. These bad boys are pop. So I'm sticking the jack in. I can see that this is not quite cut out, so we're going to make a cut out there so that the jack pops up into it. It's going to have a liner on it, a steel tube liner, to create a sort of slot to fit your jack into, the same as I've done on the other side. And then we've got another, here's the old piece that went in. We're going to make a secondary plate like that shape, but not three-dimensional like this one stamped out, just flat. And then that normally would fit like that, you see. So this is gone beyond repair, and what we're going to do is put a flat piece in there. So something like this going in, with another cut out there, then a tube, and then another square on top of that, the same shape as that. I'm using 2mm plate just to give it a bit of extra strength. So first job's just to nibble that out, and then start marking up for a new piece of plate, and then of course make that shape and put a right angle in it, and then connect that to the tube. I'm going to find a metal tube which I've got somewhere I use on the other side, put that in the vise and cut a slot out of that, section out of that, and fit it all together. So we'll start now. Okay, I think that's supposed to lean back so it leans away from the door. Cut that out with the air nibbler there. Check the relative height using the existing panel by sitting on top of the jack. I think we've got enough in there. That's the right angle. That's going to clear the door, I hope. Door's in there, so we can now make the second part of this, the outer skin, and then get the tube cut. Alright, I used a slicing disc to take that out. That's going to be our jacking reinforcer and sort of rest point. Look how it fits on the jack there. We'll have to cut out for that a little bit more now with a nibbler, so that'll sit in. We'll do that now. Alright, so we use the die grinder with a burr cutting tool on the end. Very handy to get your exact shapes like that. It's a sort of bigger version of a Dremel really, with a Dremel routing end on it. So they're quite handy little compact tool. Another thing I wish I had was a sort of more flexible join here at the bottom, because when you're close up you can't get it turned because it hits on the pipes on the floor. So I'd like to see a right angle air connector for that. Maybe you can get them, I'll have to have a look. So there we go, that's that out. We're going to do the piece of metal next, the second skin. That's the full skin piece, we're going to cut that. Right, just marking off the metal there, get a cut in now with the use the angle grinder with a slicer and disc on it. Okay, I put the backing plate on there now. That's going to create that full inner piece there, look. Got a bit of Jeff Beck on, good old Jeff Beck. Okay, so that's that clamped in there, sprayed it so I can mark where that jacking point is. See, look, there's a jacking point. We need to cut that out with a die grinder, but first we want to slice that with the slicing disc, so we get the plate cut to the right size. Then we'll see how it's a fascist regime. Okay, plate cut out there. We're all trying to just get it to. That's a reinforcer plate. We'll be fixing that in a minute. Let's do a cutout for it first that matches that. I'll have to stick it behind the back for now, just to get the profile out, and then spray over it, cut it out. Then I'm going to put some ribbing in it just for a bit more strength, and we'll spot weld it to that plate there. That'll give us the reinforcer with the tube line on it. Then we'll put the sill on top, and it should all line up with your jacking point on the base of the sill there. That'll fit into there like that. There's your jacking point. Let me just get that strap out of the way of the lens there. So that fits in there like that. Got some more lights. Our main lights failed, the bulb's blown, so we're in the darkness. Okay, so that's going on there, that fits on there, you can see what we're doing. Okay, right, I'm going in with a die grinder. Just going to cut that out there like that. Need me headphones on, this is loud. Headphones, the ear mufflers, that is loud. Uh-oh, it's moved, right, I'll have to readjust. Record alert, record alert. Oh, we've got the Mark IV Cortina rear seat support guitar. So a bit of running order in the rest of the boys. Hang on. Alright, let's get down. Let's get down to it. There's the plate, we're going to flange it. No, we're going to put the holes into the punch first. Okay, put the ribs in it now. press, punched out. It goes on there like that. Nothing to stop us welding that now. We'll do that now. Let's get it welded.
Now when I talk to God, I really understand.
Alright, some welds in.
Don't ask me what I think they're doing. I'm not getting the answer.
I'll have to drill those. Not going to get them. Drill. Yeah, punch won't get into that hole. Okay, we're going in for the action. What I've done, I've put that half piece of pipe, I'll just move the light for you, over the jack, and then I'll bring the jack up into the position. That gives us the snug fit. And then we can put the welds in. I'm slowly turning the handle. I get some welds in there now, so we know that's all where it should be. But I'm going to make that a flush fit so that the sill fits over. That's sticking out too much at the moment, but we can't go too flush. I won't be able to get the weld on it. So that's how we're setting that up. Okay, here goes the plate. See how that fits in there? Whoops, so that sits over there like that, and there's your jacking point built up. You want to come up with the action again? There you go. So I've sort of jammed the pipe in to the jack, I've dropped that on that, can clamp that in place and weld the whole lot in. That's the idea. Let's hope it works. Don't see why. Right, I've welded that on at the back as well. I can get in there. Have a look. I don't know if the screen will flip round. There we go. Where are we? Amazing how difficult it is to get your bearing when you go upside down. I can't believe it. There we go. There you go. I've welded that inside there, see? So I'm cutting it from the front now. I'm going to slice it off because see your face of your sill goes along there. That's going to jam on that. That's got to be sliced down, just welded round. So we'll do that next. But if you want to be on camera when we do that. May as well. Slice that off flush. I don't think the sill sits on it. Ah yes, definitely hits it. Fucking knocked me. Oops, I knocked the camera over. It hates it when you knock the camera over, right? It goes out of focus. Start again. Right, I sliced that off, flush. Line up with the sill now. So one more thing to do. That's your plate. Pop that plate over there. Let's reinforce the plate. Pop that in position. Let's get a clamp on. This one. And the results. From local derbies to world championships. Okay, and then they got it all wrong. When the bogeyman retires for the night, he takes it. Right, we need a welding glove. There it is. There we go. Which one do we want?